Are you a music lover looking for your next adventure? Here are the top travel destinations around the world that every music enthusiast must visit. 1. Nashville, Tennessee, USA, known as Music City. Nashville is famous for its country music scene. While country music and barbecue remain at the heart of Nashville, the Tennessee city has been evolving, welcoming a more diverse population with a wider range of interests. Now, Music City includes street art murals, coffee shops, craft breweries, and upscale dining, along with its iconic live music venues and down-home hospitality. Must-visit places in Nashville. The Grand Ole Opry. From radio broadcast to world-renowned stage show, the Grand Ole Opry showcases genres from country and bluegrass to folk, comedy, and gospel, both live and on the radio. Country Music Hall of Fame. From Elvis Presley to Dolly Parton, Nashville's stars have earned the place its title as Music City, and you can dive into that history and culture at the Country Music Hall of Fame and Museum. Ryman Auditorium. Known as the Mother Church of Country Music, Ryman Auditorium helped transform Nashville into a legendary music destination. Since 1892, the venue has hosted notable stars such as Elvis Presley, Johnny Cash, Van Morrison, and Minnie Pearl. Music Row. No trip to Nashville is complete without a visit to Music Row. This is the home of the country music industry, with a slew of record labels, radio stations, and recording studios working side by side. There are also live venues on or near Music Row, to check out established artists as well as up-and-comers looking to break through. Johnny Cash Museum. Despite its small size, the Johnny Cash Museum manages to hold one of the world's largest collections of Johnny Cash artifacts. Bill Miller, one of Cash's closest friends, gathered and cataloged the country music superstar's memorabilia for decades, resulting in this popular Nashville attraction and Cash fan pilgrimage site. New Orleans, Louisiana, USA, birthplace of jazz with a rich musical heritage. Known equally for its gorgeous Gallic-inspired architecture and its festive nightlife scene, New Orleans is a fun, friendly place that appeals equally to history buffs and partiers. Just strolling around this southern U.S. city is enough for many travelers, particularly if you base yourself in the aptly named French Quarter or the elegant Garden District. Must-visit places in New Orleans. French Quarter. The French Quarter, with its vibrant atmosphere and unique blend of architectural styles, is easily New Orleans' most famous and popular area to visit. It's also the city's oldest neighborhood, and its elegant streets are lined with an appealing mix of lively bars, especially along the legendary Bourbon Street, historic monuments, delicious restaurants, and inviting jazz clubs. Preservation Hall. One of New Orleans' favorite live music venues, Preservation Hall sits in the heart of the French Quarter and is known for its Preservation Hall Jazz Band. Dating back to 1961, the hall boasts a festive and intimate atmosphere, and crowds pack in the door every night to hear some of the city's best music. Faubourg Marigny, a hotbed of musical talent, this historic New Orleans neighborhood is one of the best spots in the city to catch a live show. Dating back to the early 1800s, Faubourg Marigny is a nightlife destination popular with locals looking for authentic jazz and blues without the French Quarter crowds. Frenchman Street. Bourbon Street may hog the spotlight, but in New Orleans, the real party is on Frenchman Street. This little three-block section of the French Quarter is home to the numerous music venues and dance halls that have put New Orleans' 7th Ward on the map. Order a drink, to go, and pop in and out of a variety of venues like the locals do. 3. Austin, Texas, USA, known as the live music capital of the world. Dynamic and down-home, distinctly Texan but an entity all its own, Austin melds contrasts and contradictions into one transportative whole. Recent infusions of tech dollars, plus the South by Southwest Cultural Festival, which touches down every March, have fostered an ever-growing audience hungry for third-wave coffee shops, James Beard award-winning restaurants, and slick boutique hotels, but the city's barbecue hotspots, live music joints, taco trucks, and cowboy boot emporiums evince its local pride. Must-visit places in Austin. 6th Street. Austin's 6th Street, sometimes known colloquially as Dirty Sixth, is the epicenter for late nights, free-flowing drinks, and all-around good times in the live music capital of the world. This historical neighborhood is lined with bars, restaurants, and souvenir shops, and car traffic is blocked on weekends so pedestrians can take their party into the street. Zilker Park. While Zilker Park doesn't always have live music, it's notable as the home of Austin's biggest music festival, Austin City Limits. For 2 consecutive weekends each October, the park hosts more than 125 performances across 8 stages. Past headliners have included Metallica, Paul McCartney, Willie Nelson, and Kendrick Lamar. 4. Vienna, Austria. Renowned for its classical music history, home to composers like Mozart, Beethoven, and Schubert. Once one of Europe's great imperial cities, Vienna still bears the hallmarks of its glory years: opulent Baroque palaces, prestigious opera houses, and high society balls held during its annual carnival celebrations. Must-visit places in Vienna. Vienna State Opera, a masterpiece of Renaissance architecture and one of the most prestigious opera houses in the world, the Vienna State Opera, Wiener Staatsoper, is a hallowed venue for opera fans. Each year, the auditorium hosts 350 Vienna Philharmonic Orchestra and Vienna State Ballet, Wiener Staatsballet, performances, as well as the Vienna Opera Ball. Musikverein. Among the most striking neoclassical buildings in Vienna, Vienna Musikverein, Wiener Musikverein pays homage to the city's music-infused past and present. The concert hall is home to the renowned Vienna Philharmonic Orchestra and boasts some of the best acoustics in the world. House of Music, Haus der Musik. 4 floors of interactive exhibits bring Vienna's musical legacy to life, whether you're exploring famous composers or leading a virtual orchestra. The House of Music, Haus der Musik, combines musical history, hands-on activities, and other melodic features into a single museum suitable for all ages. Beethoven Pasqualati House, a highlight for classical music enthusiasts. This historic townhouse built into Vienna's old city walls was Ludwig van Beethoven's residence for 8 years. Today it houses a museum dedicated to his life and work, with a collection of original symphony manuscripts, personal papers, portraits, and replicas of the composer's instruments. Mozarteum Vienna. Mozart had multiple residences in Vienna, but only one survived to the present day, the Mozarteum Vienna at Domgasse 5, which was the composer's home during the height of his career from 1784 to 1787. Today, the residence is a fascinating museum to visit for music lovers and history buffs alike. 5. Liverpool, England. Famous for being the birthplace of the Beatles. Once coal-streaked and industrial and now thrumming with dynamism and new life, northerly Liverpool has blossomed into one of England's must-visit cultural centers. Partial credit goes to the Beatles, local Liverpool lads, whose reflected glory can be seen at the Beatles Story and the historic Cavern Club. Must-visit places in London. Penny Lane. Made famous by the Beatles song, Penny Lane is lined with shops and small businesses. Before the Beatles hit the big time, John Lennon and Paul McCartney used to catch the bus from here. Some of the places named checked in the lyrics, such as the shelter in the middle of the roundabout and the barbershop, can still be seen today. Cavern Club. Famous as the stage where the Beatles made their debut in 1961, Liverpool's Cavern Club has become a place of legend, hosting not only the Fab Four, but the Who, the Kinks, the Rolling Stones, Queen, Elton John, and many more household names. The influential club remains one of Liverpool's top live music venues to this day. Beatles Story. This Beatles-centric museum is stuffed full of Fab Four memorabilia, from George Harrison's first guitar to John Lennon's orange-tinted glasses. Exhibits trace the journey of Liverpool's hometown heroes and the rise of Beatlemania, and include a full-scale replica of the F. Magical Beatles Museum. Opened in 2018, the Magical Beatles Museum tells the story of the Fab Four through a 1,200-strong collection of memorabilia, which belongs to the brother of first Beatles drummer, Pete Best. Highlights includes John Lennon's Sgt. Pepper medals, the I Am the Walrus cello, and stars Ludwig snare drum. Zanzibar. Located on Seal Street, Zanzibar is a historic grassroots music venue that has been around for over 30 years. With a focus on rock and alternative music, Zanzibar is known for showcasing emerging performers and unsigned bands. Liverpudlian bands like the Coral, the Zootons, and Miles Kane have all played here, as well as high-profile artists like Kate Nash, the 1975, and Noel Gallagher. With room for 300 people plus a dance floor, you're in for a good time. 6. Berlin, Germany. Known for its diverse and vibrant music scene, including techno and electronic music. Forged from the fire of some of Europe's darkest and most divisive moments, the German capital has emerged as a beacon of cultural diversity and individuality. Must-visit places in Berlin. Berlin Philharmonic Hall, Berliner Philharmonie, Berlin's Philharmonic Hall. Berliner Philharmonie is the bright yellow, tent-shaped building in the center of the city. It is famous for its modernist design, world-renowned acoustics, and accomplished orchestra, one of the best in the world. The main concert hall seats 2,440 people for orchestra shows. The chamber music hall seats 1,180. Berghain, the club's main room is dedicated to techno, while the smaller upstairs space, Panorama Bar, features house music. An outdoor garden opens between late spring and early fall for daytime DJ sets. Berghain's main dance floor boasts a Function 1 sound system. The original Dance Stack, one of the company's largest installations, was set up in 2005 and replaced with a new, updated Function 1 system in 2023. Panorama Bar received an upgrade in 2017 with a 4-point line array system and 6 additional subwoofers from Stud Acoustic. Hansa Tonstudio, located in Berlin's Kreuzberg district, is renowned for its Meistersaal recording hall. Just 150 meters from the former Berlin Wall, it was once known as Hansa Studio by the Wall, or Hansa by the Wall. Today, the fully restored Meistersaal serves as a recording studio and a venue for concerts and various events. 7. Kingston, Jamaica, the birthplace of reggae music and home to the legendary Bob Marley. Jamaica's capital city is often passed over in favor of beachier destinations in the northern part of the island. But for fans of reggae music and anyone wanting to get their finger on the pulse of Jamaican culture, a visit to Kingston is a must. You can learn about the evolution of reggae music in Trenchtown and at the Bob Marley Museum, immerse yourself in art at the National Gallery, and sample tasty jerk cuisine before nipping off on an excursion to the lush Blue Mountains. Must-visit places in Kingston. Bob Marley Museum. Housed in the former home and recording studio of reggae king Bob Marley, this museum is among the most popular attractions in all of Jamaica. Here you can see Marley's gold and platinum records, articles of his clothing, and his favorite guitar still resting beside his bed, as well as reminders of a 1976 attempt on his life. Trenchtown. The Trenchtown neighborhood of Kingston, and, more specifically, the Trenchtown Culture Yard. is most famous as the home of reggae legend Bob Marley, who spent much of his youth living and creating music here. The neighborhood is also considered the birthplace of reggae itself, with many other artists originating here, too. And if you like reggae, come for the annual Bob Marley Week, which takes place over the first week of February and includes concerts, exhibitions, and other festivities. 8. Memphis, Tennessee, USA, known for its influential blues, soul, and rock and roll history. A city just as eclectic as its musicians, Memphis is the stomping ground for music greats of today and years past, such as Elvis, B.B. King, and Johnny Cash. From Graceland, Sun Studio, and the Memphis Music Hall of Fame to Beale Street's Blues Club vibes, music lovers never run out of things to do in Memphis. Other attractions and must-dos include visiting the National Civil Rights Museum and Slave Haven Underground Railroad Museum, as well as dining on traditional Tennessee barbecue. Must-visit places in Memphis: Graceland, the second most visited home in the United States, behind only the White House. Graceland was home to Elvis Presley during the height of his career. Although the rock and roll singer and pop culture icon died in the White Column Mansion in 1977, touring the wacky rooms of this 17,552 square foot, 1,630 square meter estate offers insight into the mind of the King of Rock, who is buried in the estate's meditation gardens. Beale Street: from 1920 to 1940, artists descended on Beale Street to collaborate, creating a new music style that blended smooth jazz with hard-charging rock and roll. This mix eventually gave birth to the blues, a new and distinctly American genre of music that gradually made its way into the United States pop culture mainstream. A visit to today's Beale Street, now a U.S. National Historic Landmark District, allows travelers to check out the blues clubs that served as the launching sites for some of the most famous American blues musicians of all time. And Sun Studio, a veritable icon of music and a Memphis landmark, Sun Studio is known as the birthplace of rock and roll. In fact, the very first rock single, Rocket 88 Inches, was recorded here in 1951, when it was called the Memphis Recording Service. The former recording studio's musical heritage, made famous thanks to the superstardom of artists such as Elvis and Johnny Cash, and collection of one-of-a-kind memorabilia make it an unforgettable stop in Memphis. Memphis Music Hall of Fame, arguably America's musical heart, a cultural melting pot that created the rhythm and blues sound, Memphis has a number of tourist attractions dedicated to the craft. Local favorites, some well-known, some more obscure, are celebrated in the Memphis Music Hall of Fame, a small upstairs Smithsonian-branded museum, which shares a building with the Hard Rock Cafe in Memphis and a retail outlet of Memphis clothier Lansky Bros. The museum is the headquarters for an off-site annual induction ceremony that adds new noteworthy blues, soul, and rock musicians from the city to its ranks. Among its honored acts Al Green, Justin Timberlake, Johnny Cash, David Porter, Elvis Presley, and B.B. King.